How do you exercise an option to extend the term of an agreement? It's actually not too hard. Hi everyone, Simon here from the Contract Company. Contracts, that's what we do all day, every day, and sometimes overnight. Lucky us. It is lucky us. Anyway, so you've got a contract. In the contract, there is a set term, say 1, 2, or 3 years. And the contract also has an option period where you can extend the contract for that further term, whatever it is, 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, doesn't matter. How do you exercise the option? Right. Number one, have a look at the wording of the clause. And a lot of people get this wrong because the clause will often say something like, Party A is able to exercise the option if Party A sends a letter or an email or some sort of written notice to Party B saying that the option is being exercised. So that's pretty simple. Party A, all they need to do is follow what the clause says and write an email to Party B saying, under clause blah blah of the contract, we have the ability to extend the term for a further period of 1 year. By this email, we're giving you notice that we're exercising that option, and the new or the expiry date of the contract will now be, at some point in the future. What some people do though is they actually write a letter that requires the other party to consent. Now what that does is that if the other party is being asked to consent, then what do you do if they don't consent? Interesting. Then you're in a bit of a pickle because the contract said that you, Party A, can exercise the option unilaterally, meaning without their consent, just by sending them a letter. And so if you send them a letter and ask them to sign, what you're doing is really varying the contract to say, look, even though the contract says that we can exercise the option by just sending you a notice, we actually want to send you a notice, but do you want the contract to be extended? Do you want to allow us to exercise the option? Not a good position to be in. So you want to make sure that you just follow what the contract says. Now, sometimes the option clause will say the other party needs to consent, but not most of the contracts I've seen. And I suppose I've seen a lot of Commonwealth contracts. And when you're acting for the Commonwealth just says, if we exercise the option, then we'll just send you a notification. But to be honest, they don't always get it right. So just look at the wording of the contract and do what the clause says, and don't overthink it. If it basically says notice needs to be issued to Party B in writing, then guess what? An email will suffice. Now, sometimes there'll be a notice provision in the contract that says, formal notices between the parties must be sent by fax. If they're written, I was going to say by a certain law firm, but I'm not going to say that. If they were written in, 1987. But these days, come on, let's get real. An email should suffice. In fact, when you're doing something like exercising the option, because that's an important thing, you always want to put it in writing. The question is, does it need to be, a formal letter attached to an email or a formal letter hand delivered? Well, from what I've seen, 99% of the time, no, it can just be an email. Right, that's how you exercise an option. There's so many variations to this, so I've obviously been general, but I hope that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch, simon@contractcompany.com.au or 1-800-355-455. Thanks very much.